Let's get to the politics. And today we have two happy Republicans, Scotty Nell Hughes and Janelle King, and a rather depressed but ever-witty Democrat, David Schuster. Welcome to the programme, everyone. Now, David, you'll notice that you're outnumbered 2-1, so I'll give you the honour of going first. Why didn't Kamala Harris beat Donald Trump?
Well, a couple of things. I think a majority of Americans bought into Donald Trump's I think we have a lot of low information people here who are not very well educated. They heard Donald Trump speaking in ambiguities. I think more educated Americans heard Donald Trump talking about fascism and wanting to emulate Hitler. So I think most Americans, they looked at the border. They saw that there was immigration problems, even though immigration is down compared to the end of the Trump administration. They bought into Donald Trump's claims about the economy, that inflation is skyrocketing when, in fact, inflation is down. And I think they also felt some overall concerns about the direction of the country. Adding all of that up together, it's usually a change election. When 7 out of 10 Americans say they don't like the direction of this country, which is what the polling found, it's very difficult if you've been part of that administration to win re-election. And Kamala Harris had a very tricky job of trying to somehow separate herself from Joe Biden. In the end, I think between turnout being lower than it was in 2020, and again, between a lot of misinformation out there, Kamala Harris was not able to replicate what Joe Biden did 4 years ago.
David, I dare say the mask of civility has dropped very quickly in this debate, perhaps because you're feeling rather depressed about her loss to Trump. I'd have to say this sort of cosmopolitan arrogance is probably what lost the Democrats the election. Come in, please, Scotty.
Oh, David just gave us the best examples because Democrats continue to insult the intelligence of Americans. And if it was just about Donald Trump, then please explain to me how there was such a red tsunami that we took over the Senate and we're going to be able to hold the House. So those kind of continued, the reason why the Republicans continue to dominate across the board this election season is because the last 4 years, Democrats like David insult the intelligence of Americans to think for themselves and not just take the rhetoric and narrative that continually is spoon-fed to them by the Democrats. I was not the
comedian who called Puerto Ricans garbage. I was not the one who lied repeatedly to the American people.
Had a president.
I'm not the one who got charged with 34 felonies and was convicted by a jury. Donald Trump is an adjudicated rapist, a convicted felon. He's misogynist. He's sexist. And even though a lot of Americans don't care, there's still a lot of Americans who do care, who care about Ukraine, which is now going to be carved up by Russia, who care about the economy, which is now going to be tanked by Donald Trump's tariffs. America's headed for some very dark days ahead because of Donald Trump.
Okay, time out, guys, time out. The fact is, you weren't just talking about Donald Trump, were you, David, in your first answer? You were talking about over 72 million voters. You called them ill-educated and misinformed, and I'm afraid that is the attitude that lost Kamala the election potentially. That's not what cost Kamala the election.
What cost Kamala the election is that a majority of Americans believed.
Hold on, Janelle. Let David answer.
They believed Donald Trump's lies. That's what cost the election.
Not because she was a bad candidate. Not because she was the most.
She was a great candidate.
She was a great candidate.
Did everything that she was asked for. She was a terrific candidate. Democrats had a good message going forward, but a lot of Americans are people who do not tune into politics. They don't do their own homework. When Donald Trump says we have the worst inflation we've ever had in our nation's history, a lot of Americans believe that nonsense, and there's no way to counter Donald Trump's lies. Clearly, Americans do not care about the truth.
Let's give Janelle a chance to come in. Janelle, there's no way to counter Donald Trump's lies. I thought that was what the entire mainstream media was for.
Oh my gosh, I'm like, please tag me in, because if I listen to any more of this, this is what we're talking about. You said that the voters were uneducated. You said that the voters were the ones believing these lies. This is as if Democrats don't tell lies. First of all, I said on this show just not too long ago before this election, and I stated that there's moments where Democrats want to pick and choose when they want to listen to President Trump, and then there are other moments when they don't. They continue to cherry pick his words. They continue to try to fear monger. The fact of the matter is the Democrat Party thinks that we are all dumb. They think that they need to tell us what to do, tell us how to run things.
I don't think you and Scotty are dumb, but I do think there are a lot of dumb Americans who are out there.
I did not interrupt you. Okay. Please allow me to finish, which is another trait of Democrats. The moment you start calling them out, they start interrupting you and trying to cut you off so that you can't get your words out because they know that what you're saying is true. The fact of the matter is you opened up this segment before we had anything else to say, leading with insults, telling people we are uneducated. I am extremely educated. I follow politics. Unlike what you're saying, there are a lot of people who follow politics. And because we follow politics as Americans, we were able to decide for ourselves. And that is what Democrats are upset about. They don't want us to decide for ourselves. They want to tell us how to think. And we're telling you that the Republic has stood up and said, we're not going to take it anymore. We're not going to continue to be insulted. We're not going to be told that we need to vote a certain type of way because of these manufactured fears. Instead, we're going to do what's best for our families. And that's what happened.
David, the fact is, when you talk about Trump's voters, you're now having to look at the evolving demographics here. 42% of Hispanics voted for Donald Trump, and nearly 1 in 4 black men. So he is appealing to them. Are you calling them stupid and ill-informed as well?
No, I'm calling a lot of Latinos sexist, and that has come out in a lot of the polling. A majority of Latino men voted against Kamala Harris, and repeatedly they told pollsters and exit surveys it's because they don't believe a woman should be president of the United States, that a woman should be in the kitchen. That's what a number of radio hosts, Latino men, said. It's indebted, it's in the culture. There's a machismo that believes women should not be leaders. And that's one of the reasons that I think that Kamala Harris was heard among Latino men and among Latinos in general. I think among African men, African-American men, there's also a challenge with the role of African-American women in our society that a lot of African-American women don't like. African-American men do not like the role that African-American women have played in keeping families going and keeping the society intact.
Scotty, come in.
Let me please say something to that, because I'm extremely insulted, particularly as an African-American woman. First of all, the traditional values that you speak of are values that we have held as a culture for a very, very long time. We absolutely want to see our Black men lead our homes and lead our families. The fact of the matter is the Democrat Party would not allow that to happen. Anytime a Black man decides that he wants to do something for himself or lead his family or make decisions for his family, there are Black women in the Democrat Party that says, no, don't listen to your husbands. Matter of fact, they pushed out commercials saying, lie to your husbands, tell them something different. How does that strengthen the family? We are tired of this rhetoric that continues to destroy the Black family. And we're not standing for it anymore. I stand beside our Black men. I stand with my Black man who voted for Trump proudly. And I know the reason why. And he leads my family. He leads my family every single day. And what we're not going to do is insult the Black community.
Are you going to stand by the Black men in the United States when Donald Trump tells the police they have immunity? And Donald Trump, as he said on the campaign, wants police to go and knock the out of people that police think are criminals and thugs. Not up to a jury to determine whether they're criminals and thugs, but just the police decide they see an African-American win and they don't like him and they want to beat the crap out of him. Are you going to defend the police? Are you going to defend it, or are you going to defend Black men in that instance?
Let me give you an educated response, since you think I'm uneducated. Out of 60 million police interactions that take place in the state, in this country, less than 1% end in police brutality. The fact of the matter is more white Americans struggle through police brutality than Black Americans. So we're going to stop with that lie as well. Another lie is that all Black people are poor. We are not poor. We have businesses. We're educated. We have families. We are doing just fine. We're going to stop with that as well.
Scotty, just a final answer from you, because you didn't get much in this way of the debate here. A golden era Trump is promising. Are you excited about it, the next 4 years?
I'm absolutely, and don't apologize. Let me say this, David, I get it. You're in mourning. This is the anger phase of your mourning. My condolences to your party. And as long as you keep that attitude, you're going to continue to be at the graveside of politics. Because until you realize why the Democrats have lost the blue-collar workers, have lost the diversity that you so championed for so many years, you're going to continue to have election night failures like you saw Tuesday night. So I am asking for your party, for the good of America, that you do a good post-mortem assessment of what you have done wrong as a party. And let's hope and try to work together, because let me tell you, Republicans nor Democrats have it right. And it's because of that the Trump movement has been successful.
Scotty, just a final answer, and I have to give this to David, I'm afraid, since he's outnumbered. David, will the Democrat Party learn its lesson not to be so woke in the future?
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, Democrats have gotten a majority of the votes in the presidential elections. In every presidential election for the last 20 years, until the one Tuesday night. So it's the Republicans who have been out in the hinterlands for a long time. I do agree that this whole issue about pronouns and wokeism and cancel culture, Democrats have to reevaluate. I've never supported any of that nonsense. I've never believed that pronouns and transgender rights and all that kind of thing. I think Democrats have taken that too far and they need to stand against it. However, again, Democrats, if you look at the issues Democrats stand for, economic opportunity, education opportunity, healthcare, a strong majority of Americans back Democratic policies on these issues. They don't like the Republican policies. The elections will swing back to that, I promise, starting in 2 years.
David Schuster, good luck. Janelle King and Scotty Nell Hughes, congratulations. Well, once back in the White House.